Welcome to Tabletop Tonic. I'm Luke.
And I'm Nick.
This is the podcast where we talk about just general things, mostly board games, video games, pop culture in general.
Yeah. Or whatever we feel like talking about.
Yeah, it's not up to you. It's up to us.
Yeah. You're listening.
It's up to you if you want to listen or not.
You're on this roller coaster with us. You chose to be here.
And thank you for stepping in.
Yeah.
You have to be at least 6 foot tall to enter.
Yeah. And we also need a third person in our car, or else they wouldn't let us get on. So.
Fuck it, man.
What?
This is hard.
Yeah, I guess a little bit.
I keep I know what I'm going to say, and then I have pause, you know?
You don't want to say it.
No, it's just it's oh, I know what I'm going to talk about next, and then I completely forget about it.
Can I tell you I like what we're doing right now?
What do you mean?
I'm enjoying this.
Oh, just general conversation like this. Yeah, why can it be this easy?
Yeah, I think we're making it too hard.
Trying to talk to someone that's not there instead of to each other.
Yeah. Just talk to me, and I'm going to talk to you.
Well, the problem is with the first podcast is this is what we are, this is what we're doing, when we really just want to get to shooting the shit with each other, and then just having to vocalize that and make it so people understand what it is. It's almost we should just go straight into it.
I think we did a great job just explaining it just now by happenstance.
Yeah.
Just us. Yeah, I think this was fine. I like this.
You want to keep rolling?
Yeah. So I know we had things we want to talk about.
Yes.
Also, just because it's timely, the royal family's racist. Who'd have thunk that?
So I actually didn't hear about this at all.
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
No. So they were on Oprah,
yes.
Right?
Oprah spilled the bean. Oprah and Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry?
Tyler Perry. Oprah and Tyler Perry.
The master director, Tyler Perry himself.
Yeah. Of hit films such as Medea and Medea's Halloween and Medea's Family Reunion and just Medea in general.
The Medea series.
Which
we love.
Yes.
Wait, so this was Harry and Meghan Merkel.
Yes.
Went on Oprah. They said that the royal family was racist?
Yeah. Members of the family were worried about what the baby would look like because it was a mixed baby.
Do they have a baby?
She's pregnant right now.
Okay.
Yeah. They're worried it's going to be too brown.
Oh. They said that verbatim?
Yeah. All the people missing chins and extraordinarily pointy noses were worried about what this brown baby might look like.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's I know nothing about the royal family.
I don't know either, but I just saw today before I was coming over here that Oprah tackled the royal
first
family.
Lance Armstrong, then the Queen.
Yeah.
Oprah's really gone full force on these famous people.
Oprah's the giant killer.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the first 2 seasons of The Crown, so I pretty much saw this coming.
Yeah, so yeah, we knew what was going to happen.
So the Queen herself,
supposedly she's cool. Supposedly Queen Elizabeth isn't.
Who would have thought? After seeing World War II, maybe don't judge people by the color of their skin or their nationality.
But I don't know the names of any of these people. It's the dude who looks like Emperor Palpatine. If you see
Prince Philip,
is that his name?
That's her husband.
Yes, him.
Because he's not king.
No,
he can't be king.
Yeah, because she's the queen.
She's the boss bitch.
Yeah, and Happy International Women's Day.
Yeah. It was yesterday, but we celebrate every day.
Yeah, it's every day in the studio. I don't think she's the one that had the problem with it. It was just it's literally everyone else, and also apparently, the monarchy isn't it's not it's you run like an organization pretty much,
right?
It's essentially just a money making. They're like Amazon, I think.
Yeah, so they make money because they own property, right? Is that like their...
They must... It must just be from like them being just royalty in like England in general, that they must own like, I don't know, oil fields or something.
I know Queen Elizabeth trains horses for like races and stuff.
Okay, that's probably a source of income also.
I also know that no, she doesn't herself train the horses. She doesn't go down to the stable and at 6 a.m.
No one's paying Queen Elizabeth to train their horse.
No. She pays the people to train the horses and force them to breed.
She's just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
It's like her after being the queen job.
Yeah, that's her hobby.
Yeah, I train horses.
She takes like the Royal Brigade down to the track to Saratoga to get these horses prepped.
She's got a fistful of tickets.
She's actually the one that if the horse dies of heat exhaustion, she's the one who has to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
She chooses to. They tell her to no, you don't have to do this.
They were like, you could have whatever job you want here.
She's
like,
already.
I want to put the horses down.
She's already cocking the gun as they tell her you don't have to do this.
Yeah.
But you watch like Downton Abbey, right?
Yes.
So those people are like lords and they live in like abbeys.
Yeah, they're lords and ladies. Yeah. For I know for Downton Abbey in particular,
all of our knowledge on the British monarchy is from these TV shows, which are loosely based on reality.
Yeah. Or
straight up fictional.
Yeah. The only other thing I know is Henry VIII. Divorced, beheaded, and died. Divorced, beheaded, survived for his wives.
Oh,
shout out Mr. K. He never played that song for you when you talked about medieval England.
He might have. I wasn't a great student.
I just remember that song just because it was catchy. But it was Henry VIII had 6 wives. He divorced the first one. He beheaded the second one. The third one, he was actually deeply in love with. I think she died in childbirth. Divorced, beheaded, and died. Then he got a 4th wife. He divorced her because he didn't like her either.
I assume he was deeply in love with all of them to some level.
To some extent. Maybe not so much the ones that he cut their heads off.
That's an act of love.
Yeah, I love.
It's an act of passion.
I love you so much that I'm going to kill you.
You're too good for this world.
Yeah, you're too good. I think the 5th one was Anne Boleyn. That's the one who got her head cut off. Well, one of the 2 that got her head cut off. And then...
I'm sure anyone who's listening right now who knows anything about the royal family is like...
What the fuck are they talking about?
This is like the worst shit I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm sure for the very niche set of people who have seen The Crown and Downton Abbey but don't know anything about the royal family are probably they're speaking my language. But anyone with a history background is what is this garbage? I know, this is crazy. The Queen of England technically owns all porpoises in the UK by some it's those laws that exist, and then people are just
in Massachusetts, you can't, if you have sex that's other than missionary, you go to jail.
Yeah, or in New Jersey, you can't frown at a cop.
Yeah, or isn't there...
Which actually I think is still a law, pretty sure.
Everyone's been frowning at cops lately. We're not going to talk about that right now. But
not this episode. But, yeah, so it's one of those things where, if you bring a porpoise, a dolphin, for SeaWorld or whatever, to the UK,
she owns it.
That's her dolphin, and she can do with it what she pleases. But, so you're, renting it from her. I don't think there's, a monetary exchange. I don't think you have to, send a formal request.
She doesn't ask for money, but she just asks you acknowledge the fact that she owns that dolphin.
Yeah, you have to, send her a letter by carrier pigeon.
Yeah.
Or what the ravens that live at the Westminster Abbey.
Are there ravens there?
They have they have again.
That's real Game of Thrones stuff.
Zero knowledge. Yeah, there's ravens that live at Downton Abbey. I don't know the symbology of it. Maybe someone just likes ravens.
Well, ravens have the intelligence of a 5-year-old. So I guess
5-year-old?
Yeah. So I guess if you wanted to have I guess they're smarter than a carrier pigeon, I'd imagine. So I'd feel more comfortable if I tied a letter to the leg of a raven. If I tied it to the leg of a letter to the leg of a raven and the same one to the leg of a pigeon, I'd have more confidence that the raven would get there.
I would tie it to an octopus because they're very smart.
They're just sentient in general.
Yeah, they're pretty smart. They can open jars and stuff. which a lot of people can't. Like,
they can fit through like a hole like the size of like a dime or a quarter or something like that.
Something crazy. They don't have like spines.
Yeah, they don't
right?
have bones or anything. So
you know, you always read these articles about like, oh, this animal's as smart as a 5-year-old. This animal's like as smart as like a 4-year-old, or can do like calculus. It'd be funny if like, on like a test for like a 5-year-old, like, or like parent teacher conference, you had to like say what animal your child has like reached,
the
like
level of animal.
Like, wow, your daughter Tiffany is doing so well. She is as smart as an octopus right now.
She's surpassed a raven.
Or like Jeremy is really not doing well. He's at pig. He's good. That's better than dog. Some of the kids are at dog, but he's at pig, and we really want to see him taken to raven levels.
That's the new level. When we open our preschool, that'll be everyone takes a standardized test, and the raven has to take it too. And if they get a grade equal to or better than the raven, then they can go on to the next grade.
Okay.
Because as long as they beat the raven.
I want to address that you just mentioned that we should open a preschool. Would it be like a daddy daycare situation?
Yeah. We'll hire Eddie Murphy to...
Yeah, he's not doing anything these days, right? Oh, no, Coming to America.
Yeah. Which I guess everyone hated. I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited. I'm going to watch it.
All these movies... I never saw the first one.
Okay, that's something we have to watch, because that movie's hysterical.
We watch it later if you want.
Coming to America, the first one is hysterical.
Isn't it very like people would say like, oh, you couldn't get away with that these days? It's like pretty crazy in terms of like the jokes they get away with.
I guess it's not. I'm trying to think. I guess it's been a while since I've seen it, but I don't remember anything being outright. I mean, it's a lot of like black culture stuff, because Eddie Murphy, I don't think he wrote it. I'm not sure who directed it, but it's it's like a lot of like the most famous like black actors at the time. Eddie Murphy. This is the 80s, so like Eddie Murphy's like in his prime. Arsenio Hall is.
Is that like when he did Delirious? No, that's
his stand-up special.
Or is Chris D'Elia Delirious?
No, Eddie Murphy has. I think he just has 2 stand-up specials. He's got. No, I think Delirious is the first one, and then Raw is the second one. I don't know if you've seen any of his stand-up. I
saw Raw, the one where he's in the red jumpsuit.
That's Delirious. That one's Delirious.
Okay.
Raw is...
That one was pretty crazy.
Raw is he's in a jumpsuit. His thing at the time was like a leather jumpsuit. And he wore... dribble. At least, here's the thing when you spill seltzer on yourself. It's not like you're going to leave a stain. If anything, you've made your shirt cleaner.
Yeah, people use seltzer to clean up stains.
Yeah, whenever I get tomato sauce on something white, I throw some seltzer on it real quick.
Which happens to me all the time. Yeah.
It's bold with the white pants.
I just have a general disdain for any movie that was like a hit when it came out.
And it's like, we need money.
Yeah, and then they like redo it because Hollywood is so out of ideas for what to do. Like, I mean, I liked Anchorman 2. That was very funny, I thought.
That one, did I tell you about when I saw Anchorman 2?
You saw it in the theaters?
Yeah, I saw it in theater, but I saw it when... You remember when it first came out, and then they re-released it a second time with, like, extended... It was, like, the extended cut or whatever.
Yeah, and those are always worse than the original.
That's the one I saw. And there was, like, a half an hour bit of the movie where Ron Burgundy is blind, and he gets a pet shark, and him and his son rehabilitate it.
Yeah, Dobby, right?
Yes, yeah, it was Dobby.
That isn't in the original one?
Oh, I don't know. I've only seen the extended one.
Oh, okay. The thing with these extended cuts is they're always not as good as the original one. Like, they do, like, alternate jokes or, like, to, like, get people to see it again.
Or there's like a F word in there or something.
Yeah.
I know, because wasn't the second one was just PG-13, because I think the extended cut was unrated when I saw it in theaters. Or it was rated R, maybe.
Yeah, it's always, like, unrated or, like, extra footage. The only time, this has ever worked is Lord of the Rings Extended Edition.
Yes.
That is like the definitive way to watch those movies. And it was a rare case where they had so much good stuff, they could not fit it.
Everything that he cut out is like useful information to the story. And then like what the original movie, because That's how I first saw all these movies.
Was the originals?
It was just all the original.
Me too.
And
I rented it from a video store.
I bought the DVDs.
Ancient.
I remember. Yeah. Do you guys know what DVDs are? Oh yeah. Side note. We'll come back to this. Just quick little thing. I have so many VHS tapes in my basement. From just what do you do with those? Like, I feel like I can build a house with the amount of VHS tapes I have.
I mean, they're novelty in the fact that like these will never be produced again, so they may have like some value.
Yeah,
mostly sentimental value. Probably.
I don't have any of the cases for any of them. They're just like I just have a cardboard box of black bricks essentially.
Yeah, the thing is, I mean, you'll probably never own. You'd have to like buy a VHS.
Yeah,
to watch them.
Yeah,
and then that's an AV connection, right? Not HDMI.
Yeah.
So then that's like a whole freaking thing that you have to do, and then the tapes themselves have to work because like the tape can get dust in it and everything, so you have to clean that out.
I remember my mom bought me Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets the day it came out on VHS. I put it in the VCR. I think I got to the part where it's the Quidditch match, and Draco and Harry are chasing the snitch, but the bludger's coming after them. And it just stopped, and I was like, what? And I went to eject the tape. It ate up the film and the...
Yeah, you'd always put it in there, and then like you like pull it out, and like the tape was still inside the machine.
When you're watching a movie, it was a risk of you like actually destroying it.
And then you had to like tighten it too. Like if it was like loose, you had to like stick your little sausages in there and like give it like a twist to see if that would like fix it.
Yeah. But back to Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Well, just like these extended releases in general are always such garbage. I mean, like Deadpool 2, they did like an R-rated version.
Yeah, and then they did like the PG-13.
Yeah, and it was supposed to be like a Princess Bride / Christmas theme.
Oh, was that the joke?
Yeah, they got the kid from the
they got Adam. No, not Adam Savage.
Adam Savage.
His last name's Savage. The kid.
Oh, really?
Have you ever seen Princess Bride?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
I love that movie. Yeah, they got like him to sit in the bed, and Deadpool tells him the story of Deadpool 2, and it's like Christmas, but it's PG-13, and they release it in theaters, and like of course it's gonna flop. No one wants to pay money to see the same movie again that they already saw with worse joke. Like the reason that these jokes aren't in the movie in the first place is that they're not as good. Like they're tested and they're just not as quality as like the first round was.
Did I ever tell you what my theory for that movie was?
For Deadpool 2?
Yeah. For the the re-release one for like that where it's like they're doing like the Princess Bride thing.
No.
I think that was like Disney's I don't know if Disney owned it at the time, but my theory was like that was like Disney's like test at being like, oh, if we make Deadpool like PG-13 and not rated R, can we like get away with this?
That makes sense.
Because I know Kevin Feige, whatever like their Disney thing was, he announced that they're doing a third Deadpool movie and he's coming into the MCU. But he's it's still gonna be rated R.
Yeah, he said like that was the exception.
Yeah. Probably because their PG-13 thing was an utter failure. That they're just like, we probably just keep this as it is.
Yeah, Logan was rated R too.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good movie too.
But that makes sense. I don't know if Marvel had the rights to Deadpool at that point when they came out with that movie.
Who was doing Deadpool? Was that Fox doing Deadpool?
Yeah, Fox owned like all the X-Men characters.
They're doing Deadpool and X-Men, right?
Yeah. So I'm just checking my level.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had like the whole mutant like crazy batshit X-Men universe that makes zero sense. There's like 3 different timelines and Hugh Jackman's in all of them somehow.
Yeah. And then Patrick Stewart and I think they're like, we're done with this. Patrick Stewart and
oh yeah, because
Sir Ian McKellen.
Yeah,
well, they're both sirs.
Isn't Sir Ian McKellen Gandalf?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's Gandalf, Magneto, and Sir Patrick Stewart is Captain Picard and Professor Xavier.
They get around.
Yeah,
he's also
they're also best friends from like forever ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. It'd be funny if they were like competitors. Like they hated each other.
Oh, that'd be hysterical.
Who's like the top sir?
They were like, I absolutely hate you.
That's like I went to a medieval fair like 2 years ago, and the tip jar. This is like the smartest thing I've ever seen. One, it was just they had 2 tip jars, and one it was like I was getting mead. Of course, I was at a medieval fair. You know, I'm gonna treat myself. It was my birthday, and they had 2 tip jars, and one was Sir Ian McKellen, and one was Sir Patrick Stewart. And they didn't say anything else. It was just their faces on it. And I asked the guy, I'm like, "What is this for?" And he's like, "Whatever you want." And so I put $1 in each because I like them both. But he got $2 instead of 1. So it's a very smart way to do things.
I've been to only. I think I've only been to 2 Renaissance Fair. The one was a really cheesy one at the Carroll Durham baseball park. I don't know if you know. It was there was surprisingly a lot of stuff there. They had like jousting and night fighting and stuff like that, but it was all like stage stuff. Then the second one I went to, Hoffman and I went to. There's one up near Rochester. I forget what the name of that one is. It's a huge I forget what it is, but it's a huge like medieval. It's like a Renaissance fair,
like a fairground.
Yeah, that they do it all summer long. And Hoffman and I went there, and there was this pretty girl selling. It was literally a lemon cut in half with a stick of peppermint shoved in the center. And we like went up to talk to her, and we ended up buying these lemon peppermint things for like $1.50 or whatever.
You never had lemon peppermint as a kid?
I've never had someone cut a lemon in half and shove a peppermint stick in the middle of it and hand it to me.
How do you eat that?
It's like you have to like spin it and like drink out of the lemon at the same time and lick the peppermint stick.
That's too much work for me.
And then me and Nick walked away, and we were like, did we just buy literally someone cut a lemon in half and shoved a peppermint stick in this?
That sounds terrible.
And we bought. It wasn't awful, but like at the same time, it was
You're endorsing it.
It didn't taste like bad, but at the same time, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like this isn't real candy.
That's hilarious.
But yeah,
So anyway, I want to talk to you about WandaVision.
Okay.
Because we haven't really talked about it much. I know you watched the finale.
Yes.
Right?
How far in are you?
I finished it.
Oh, you finished? Okay.
Yeah. I watched it like 3 a.m. when it came out because I wanted to finish it. But
Disney Plus has weird times when they release there. It's like they have to like release it at like West Coast time to make sure everyone sees it.
Yeah. I think like a lot, like Netflix does that too.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they release it at like 3 a.m. That way, like...
So, like, it doesn't get... Like, if everyone watched it at the same time, it doesn't get spoiled for...
Yeah, well, they want it to be released, like, on Friday. And if it was released 12 o'clock here, it would be 9 o'clock West Coast time.
Yeah.
So then technically they're viewing it, like, Thursday time, and a lot of East Coast people might not get to see it, wake up for work the next day, and then spoiled by all those West Coast assholes.
Yeah.
So...
Understandable.
But no, I did finish it. I want to know like what your thoughts in general were about like the series.
I liked it. I liked it way more towards the end. The first 3 episodes. Because when did you start watching it?
I watched it when it was like 6 episodes in.
Okay,
but nothing was spoiled for me. Because
I started watching it like right when the first one came out, and really it was all just like it was cool, but they were essentially doing like. Oh, we're gonna like redo the Dick Van Dyke Show. We're gonna redo like the Brady Bunch. We're doing like that's like the world that like Wanda's creating. And after like the first 3 episodes of just that, and then there was like little weird things that would happen in there where someone was like, "Wait, where am I? What's happening?"
Yeah,
and you're like, "Oh, okay, this is like they're realizing something weird's going on." But after the 3rd episode, I was like, I don't know how much more I can take of them just like. Oh, let's do Full House this time. Let's do like,
See, I differ in that.
I didn't think it was bad, but I when the 4th episode came out, I was really happy when they focused on like Jimmy. What's his name? Jimmy Chang, the FBI agent who pretended to be. Do you remember he was?
I think it's Woo.
Is it Woo?
Jimmy Woo.
Might be Woo.
Yeah,
but and then oh my gosh,
pretty sure it is.
Hold on, let me look this up.
All right. While you do that, I'll say I think the definitive way to watch it if you haven't watched it, which, I mean, you probably shouldn't be listening to this right now because, like, full spoilers.
Oh, we probably should have said that. Well, we didn't really spoil anything as yet. Spoilers from here on out.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen WandaVision, probably watch it. They're all out now.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming everyone owns Disney Plus.
Yeah, it was the most watched show, like a couple weeks ago, I think. But the definitive way to watch it is not watch any of it and then watch all of it, like in a binge session. Because it's only nine episodes long, and they say they're like 45 minutes, but it's just 15 minutes of credits at the end.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, the episodes actually usually like they're like 30 minutes, and it's like 15 minutes of like this was the crew in Germany, and
yeah. But I mean, with a Marvel production though, there is such a huge like crew,
thousands of.
It's like almost a movie, basically.
Yeah.
It basically is a movie that they split up into 9 episodes.
These big budget things. I mean, anything that Disney does, it's going to be a massive production. You're going to have like thousands of people work. Okay, Monica Rambeau was the sword agent. Who, you remember her mom died of cancer?
Yes.
And
she's Phaser now.
Yes. And her mom was... Did you see Captain Marvel? Her mom was friends with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's her connection to the whole thing.
Okay.
And then let me find...
So, I actually like the beginning episodes.
Oh, you're right. It was Jimmy Woo.
Yeah.
Randall Parks is the actual actor's name.
Okay. He was very good. I like his character a lot. Probably one of my favorite characters in the show.
He played fake Jim on The Office, right? You remember?
He did, yeah.
When he was... he doesn't remember that, apparently.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they asked him, they're like, what was it like being fake Jim? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, I wasn't on The Office. They're like, no, you remember? And he's like, oh my God, I did
Oh, that's
play
really funny.
Jim on The Office.
Yeah. But so I like the slow building ones. Because at least when you're watching those, it's like, what the heck is going on here? It's like a TV program. Who sees the TV program? Like, is it actually a program, or is this like in her head somehow, you know? And then like there's like these little moments like where the guy's choking in the first episode, like his boss, and then the wife is like, stop it.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, something crazy's going on here, but we don't know what yet. And then like there's like all these like little moments that like allude to the greater scheme of what's happening. I don't like how they just like randomly, like I think it's like the 4th episode or 5th episode, they just tell you exactly what's happening. They tell you everything. They tell you, they show you the agents outside.
Yeah, the 4th episode is when they get down to like what's happening in Westview, essentially.
Yeah,
from like what everyone's seeing from the outside.
There's no faith in the audience at all to like determine things on their own, you know, and like figure out what's happening. It's literally, it's like a freaking like classic Marvel thing to do, is like in an anime, like just explain everything outright so no one's confused. We're done with the build up. Here's what's happening. Here's what's going to happen next.
That's another classic Marvel thing. It's like we have the MacGuffin. Like in WandaVision this time, it's like she's making the hex that is growing out of control. Or like in the first Avengers movie, it's like the Tesseract, which is like a legit MacGuffin.
Yeah. I just think that like if they just kept like the momentum of like the viewer being like, what the heck is happening? And didn't like go to, not that I didn't like enjoy the parts that were like people outside the hex looking in. But because I liked where like Jimmy Woo goes and like you can't even see the hex from the outside yet. It's like invisible, and the cops are like, "Oh, that Westview's never existed."
We don't know what Westview is. Yeah, and him and Rambo are like looking at the Welcome to Westview sign.
Yeah, that's like a perfect like little taste of like what is happening, you know. But when they just like kind of throw it all in your face, like, "Oh, this is exactly what's happening," it kind of is like, okay, so why was I even like curious if they were just going to tell me about it?
I was just saying, yeah. I was happy once they started getting into the more like, we're going to go back and forth between what's happening on the outside and what's happening on the inside. Because not that it was irritating the first 3 episodes where it was just like a straight sitcom.
It's a slow burn.
It's like, okay, am I just watching 2 Marvel characters pretend to be the Brady Bunch for half an hour? Like,
yeah.
Like, and I mean, I did enjoy the episode where they kind of explained why Wanda recreates all these, like, sitcom worlds. That
the
was
flashback
that was
episode.
fun. That it was like something from her childhood. That's how her and her family learned how to speak English. Was watching like the Dick Van Dyke Show and like Bewitched and Mary Tyler Moore and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was good. I don't know. So I actually enjoyed the beginning episodes more. I feel like the show definitely did not have to be 9 episodes. There was like a lot of like fat. I think that could have been trimmed off in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, honestly, the way they could have just fixed that was like elongating the episodes, because in reality, the episodes are like 30, 40 minutes long.
yeah.
And it's like if they like combined it like a couple episodes here and there.
Because once the TV show, I think, what was it? It was Modern Family, right? Was like the last TV show that she did.
Yeah.
Once that was over, there's really no reason to. You could have just done like 2 more bigger episodes instead of do like half-hour long ones.
Yeah.
Instead of, because like the whole point of like making them like that length was like each show is a different transition to a new like era
like
of
a new
sitcoms.
Another decade, yeah.
So it just like, it doesn't make sense to keep it at like a half hour, like mark at that point on. I like all the Agatha Christie stuff. I like her.
That was cool.
It's cool that she's a witch. They're kind of retconning.
It's Agatha all along.
Yeah. It's like a #1 selling song now, right?
It's a bop. So wait, what? Okay, yeah, hon. Explain that to me, because I've been seeing like, WandaVision like retconned everything or whatever.
So they retcon. So like the way. So originally, Scarlet Witch is supposed to be a mutant because she's Magneto's daughter.
Well, her and Quicksilver.
Her and Quicksilver are Magneto's daughter, and I don't know if she can use magic in the original. I think she can. I think she's like a mutant, but she can use magic like Doctor Strange uses magic. So like magic does exist in the MCU. Like he's the Sorcerer Supreme. They even allude to that in WandaVision, like that Scarlet Witch is more powerful than him. But the way that they set up the character for Age of Ultron is that her and Quicksilver got their powers from
the Mind Stone.
From the Mind Stone. But then when they show you the flashback in WandaVision, it
was implied that she kind of had powers when she was a little kid, right?
Right, because she puts the hex on the bomb.
Yeah, so that doesn't go off.
The probability hex. Yeah. And then like when she goes in, she's kind of like reaching out to the Mind Stone already. She doesn't have to like touch it or anything. Mm-hmm. So she might already have like powers at that point that the Mind Stone.
She was like the only person who survived beyond that point doing like, those Mind Stone tests.
So it seems like the way they're going with it is that because she's clearly a witch now. Because Agatha Christie or Agatha Harkness, I don't want to say Christie.
Isn't she an author, Agatha Christie?
Maybe. I don't know.
I think she's a famous.
I've never read a book in my life. but Agatha Harkness is clearly a witch. Like she was in the Salem witch trials and everything.
Yes,
that's like
her mom tried like taking her powers away.
Right. So Scarlet Witch is clearly like a magic user now because she like has like the spell book and all that stuff. She does like runes and everything.
Yeah, at that last end credit scene, she was like full Doctor Strange with like 6 arms. And the book and
the absolute biggest disappointment of the show, and I did like the show. I feel like Marvel was smart to put it in a show format and not a movie format.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that would have worked as a movie.
I don't think 2 hours would have been enough to
cover like everything. Yeah. But the biggest disappointment was Quicksilver.
Oh yeah, that was definitely the big, especially because they used Evan Peterson from the X-Men movies.
Yeah,
you thought I was thinking what was going to happen. Tell me if you were thinking the same thing. Was that it was either going to be, well, at the time we didn't know Agatha was a witch yet, but I thought what happened was Scarlet Witch, she opened up like a portal to like the multiple universes, and she pulled him out of the X-Men universe. I thought that was going to be like, and then we're going to introduce all the X-Men this way after this movie. I don't know if you thought the same. That's what I thought was going to happen.
They definitely wanted you to think that, and I think the point of him being oh my God, what was his name again?
Ralph Boner.
Ralph Boner. Hilarious, by the way. Was that like it's like what's it called? They're like tricking you.
Yeah.
You know, it's a twist. You know, it's a plot twist that like people really expected him to be Quicksilver from like the X-Men movies, like Peter Maximoff.
They subverted your expectations.
Yeah,
they did it the right way, unlike The Last Jedi.
See, I don't think they did it the right way though.
Oh, you don't think? Okay.
No, I hate that. Because they tease.
Never mind, just like The Last Jedi.
Yeah. They tease the entire... It's basically a tease the entire time that this is the X-Men universe coming to the MCU. Same actor who played him, who everyone loves, like him as Quicksilver, and no one liked the original Quicksilver.
I liked him as I like him as Quicksilver.
Yeah, no, he's really good at that.
All those like all of like his scenes in the X-Men movie where he like goes so fast, everything's frozen.
Those are like the best parts.
He
of the
would
movie.
Move bullets and stuff. That was always the fun part.
Yeah. But like they tease it the entire time, and then at the end, it's like, oh, he was just like a dude who lived next door.
Yeah, who had like a charm necklace on him.
That was tricked to be Quicksilver.
Yeah,
and so like, hopefully that isn't actually what it is. Like, there's more to it. They spent like 30 seconds explaining that, but especially because like they teased him in like one of the end credit scenes catching Phaser, right?
Oh yeah. Snooper's gonna snoop or whatever it was.
Yeah. And like, you're like, oh man, he has some idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
He's definitely the Quicksilver from the other universe. Like, that's why it's him. But I don't know. It was just like they consciously like subverted your expectations.
You know what ruined that for me ahead of time was they released Funko Pops for WandaVision.
Oh really?
And the Petro Maximoff one had his name in quotes. It was Petro Maximoff. So,
but that could be interpreted as Peter Maximoff because his name isn't Petro in the MCU.
Can I borrow one of these?
Yeah.
If you look at the name, it's never like Spider-Man in quotes.
Yeah, but I'm saying like his name isn't Petro, right? It's Peter in the X-Men universe.
Well, yeah, in the X-Men universe, he's Peter.
So it could still be in quotes like Petro Maximoff, you know, something like that. But
I don't know. That to me was quick. Like, oh, this isn't this is Petro Maximoff.
Yeah, I mean, the new Funko Pop will say Ralph Boner on it.
They'll make a Ralph Boner one with him and his like margarita. I think he was making margaritas in the last episode,
something like that.
What'd you think about White Vision?
That was cool. I liked like their like talk, you know, like
that
the rationale.
That was probably my favorite part. Please elaborate.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Ship with
it's a meme now. That was pretty cool. I like that a lot. That they're like, oh, we're both Vision at the same time. I like that how he's like an AI who was programmed to kill like the other Vision, but like he's like very like intelligent. Like he's AI, so he grew past like his orders. I'm interested to see what they do with him. In the future, because he kind of just like fled.
Yeah, he's supposed to be pretty. I think he's supposed to be pretty powerful. I'm not super familiar with all like the MCU characters.
Well, he doesn't have the Mind Stone.
Weird ones. Yeah, he's just running on his like synthetic electronics that they used on him to make before they put the Mind Stone in him. Right? Yeah.
So I think that this is kind of like their way of downgrading Vision because he's so powerful.
Yeah. I was reading something where it's like how Wanda's like recreated magic vision was like what he was missing was like his AI aspect. Like he had all his like, I don't know, he like had all like the human emotions, but he was missing his like robotic side. Whereas the White Vision is missing all of his humanity because that's what the Mind Stone gave him, and he's just completely robotic. So they were thinking like down the road, like he's like, you've taken away a part of me, like I'm not complete or something like that.
Yeah. But
it was cool that I don't know, he's not like a bad guy anymore.
Yeah. Well, it could change in the future. Yeah, who knows with like all the sword stuff. But I will say my last thing is it's crazy that she killed her kids.
Oh yeah, that was.
They kind of just like, I thought like she was gonna find a way to like make like a mini hex like around the house that like they could all live in.
That's what I thought was gonna happen at the end, was that she made like a mini hex around the house in that post credit scene, and it was gonna be her, the kids, and Vision. I think what they're gonna end up doing is and I'm assuming the Doctor Strange movie, because that's when she's supposed to show up. she's going to do something where she's going to try to pull her kids and Vision out of that. Because I think she's trying to work on doing a spell where they don't have to only live in the hex.
Right.
She's probably going to work on trying to... Maybe that's what's going to, like, fracture, like, the universe or whatever. But...
Trying to pull them out of reality where they don't exist. Like, pulling them from a different reality.
Yeah. My favorite 2 memes from the last episode, though... Did you see the one with Vision? And he's like, they didn't even look like me anyways, or whatever.
No, I didn't see that one.
He's got, like, a black turtle. I think he was wearing a black turtleneck
and the gold
show.
chain.
He's got the gold chain. He's like, shit, they didn't even look like me anyways.
That's pretty good.
That was good. But then my other favorite meme is because we were both disappointed that Doctor Strange didn't show up in the last episode.
Definitely thought he was going to.
Whereas in my favorite meme is they had one where it's the scene from Ragnarok where Thor and Loki show up in New York City, and literally the second they like get there, Doctor Strange like makes his portal spell and drops them into his like house.
Yeah, he's like on top of it like, immediately.
But meanwhile, while Wanda has like a 20 mile in diameter hex, and she's taken all the humans in there as slaves, Doctor Strange is nowhere to be found.
Yeah, that's like the problem with like the MCU in general, I think.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest problem. Whereas like all these, I think Ant-Man does it funny, where they're like, oh, this person stole this like this blah blah blah. And he's like, how about we call the Avengers? Like, why do I have to deal with this? Like, I think that's, like, the one thing. It's, like, all these, like, cataclysmic big things are happening. And it's, like, wouldn't, like, the gang be like, oh, that's some... Maybe I should go over there and deal with that also?
Yeah.
Like,
and I do like smaller scale stuff. Like,
yeah.
Like, every time the Avengers are together, it's always, like, the entire universe
that's like
or the world.
That's like world ending, yeah.
Yeah. And I do think... that in general, smaller scale stuff is generally better because you have more of an investment in it.
Yeah. The Ant-Man stuff is fun because it's just like, oh, they stole a suit. Oh, they have whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's like always just like, it's contained to like what Ant-Man can deal with. It's not like, oh shit, we got to call like Thor and Captain America. Like
Spider-Man Homecoming does it really well because like Iron Man's in it, but he doesn't really help him.
Yeah, it's just Peter Parker's.
And it's just Vulture trying to steal stuff, you know, like technology. It's a small, contained story that, like, you care more about. Because it's like, oh, the entire world isn't going to end if like, this goes through.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But it matters a lot for, like, this character.
Yeah.
You have more personal involvement with it.
I can see that.
But, like, yeah, like... and anytime something happens, you would think, like, the Avengers would show up. I mean, I know the Avengers aren't, like, a thing right now or, like, in shambles after everything that happened.
Well, everything, because, you know, Captain America and Iron Man aren't there anymore.
Yeah. Thor is, like, off with the Guardians of the Galaxy and all that
stuff.
Thor
and the Guardians of the Galaxy are back in outer space.
Hawkeye's retired. Black Widow's dead.
Yep.
Like that.
Yeah, so it's Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's the next thing that's coming out, in 2 weeks or whatever?
2 weeks?
I think so.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I haven't even, like, seen a trailer for it.
I think it's next weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
They're really pumping these out now.
Yeah. Well, this is, like, what they always claimed Disney Plus was going to be. It's like, this is going to be filled with, like... Honestly, Disney Plus is just going to be, like, we're going to have Marvel shows and Star Wars stuff now.
Yeah.
You see all the announcements for all the Star Wars things that they're going to make?
Yeah, they're making a ton of stuff.
Yeah, it's like Star Wars Rangers, Star Wars... there's the Book of Boba Fett that's coming out also. They're doing
that'd be pretty cool.
They're doing
if it's like The Mandalorian, it'll be good.
Yeah. They're doing what I always wanted to do was like a dogfight movie where it's like it just focuses on the X-Wing pilots and the TIE fighter pilots.
That's pretty cool.
Where
I like
it's
the
like,
idea of that.
I think this one's just focused on like the Rebellion X-Wing fighters, but I always thought it'd be cool if it's like, oh, let's focus on like the TIE fighter pilots and the X-Wing pilots.
Yeah. Just bring yourself a little closer to the microphone. Because I think it's not picking up like
Am I cutting out?
I think it's more like echoey when you weren't like close to it. But I'm excited for Falcon and Winter Soldier, especially because I think it's based off. There's this there's a Marvel comic where a Falcon or the Winter Soldier, I can't remember exactly, but one of them is given the role of Captain America by him, but the government puts their own Captain America in place.
Oh, that's interesting.
So like they're like, no, like we decide like he was like the Captain America. We're gonna decide who it is next.
I wonder if that's what's gonna happen in this then. Have you seen any of the
I
trailers for it? Or?
I haven't seen any trailers. I may have read this somewhere in like theories like a while ago, but The fact that it's called Falcon and Winter Soldier is interesting. That it's not like Captain America and Winter Soldier, because it implies that he's still the Falcon. He's not Captain America.
I think that, well, because at the end of Endgame, he gives him the shield. He's like, "You're the new Captain America now." Yeah. But I think even him, he is like, "I don't want to be Captain America."
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see like either if they go in the direction of him trying to deal with being the new Captain America and like the pressure that involves, because he's not like super powered like Captain America was, or if they do it in the direction, because remember like the Marvel comic where Captain America works for Hydra.
Yeah, and that was like
so if like their new Captain America worked for Hydra, that'd be pretty cool. If like everyone loves the new Captain America and like doesn't want Falcon to be it.
They did a cool job of tying that in Endgame. I wasn't crazy about the time travel stuff in Endgame, but the part I liked was they were able to incorporate the part where he grabs the Tesseract from them and he does the Hail Hydra, because he knows from Winter Soldier, right? It was Winter Soldier was the one where where S.H.I.E.L.D. turns out to be it's all Hydra agent.
And he's in the elevator again, which is like alludes to that. Yeah, but that brings me into something else I want to talk to you about was movie theaters now.
Okay,
so like I know Disney Plus has been releasing things.
Which by the Disney Plus, I refuse to pay for any of the movies they release for $30.
Yeah,
I haven't done it yet, but I would. I'm not opposed to doing the $20 on Amazon. $30 is unacceptable.
I did it for Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was it.
That was $20.
Yeah, worth every penny. Because I also own it now too.
Okay.
So like you if you own the movie afterwards,
that's not a bad deal.
It's like if you went to a movie theater and they gave you like a Blu-ray when you left. It'd be like super cool.
Yeah.
But
movie theaters, hop on that.
I know we talked about how Universal Studios won't be at Regal or AMC. Sorry.
Yeah, they're not showing any of their movies at any of those places
because they released Trolls 2 alongside.
And they
Trolls 2.
They're like
alongside.
Because while every child is home, any parent is willing to pay as much money as possible to keep that child quiet.
Yeah. So like AMC got mad because like they're like, this is cutting to our profits.
Yeah.
And Regal like coincided with them on that thought.
You know already. I hate movie theaters.
Yeah. Elaborate on this.
For someone who loves movies, I hate movie theaters.
So you would be happy if every film in the future was released at home at the same time as a midnight release in theaters.
I love what HBO Max does, because it's like you have the subscription. We're going to release the movie. It's only going to be on there for 31 days, but it's also in theaters if you want to go see it in theaters.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the movies are only like Wonder Woman. Boy, that could be a whole other discussion of just.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you don't.
Really?
It's so just like.
I liked it.
No.
Oh.
It's just so. Not that it's. Again, it's nothing to do with.
First one was good.
First one was good. I did enjoy the first one. I don't know. It's just so like. I don't know. I feel like it's so like. Not what the first one was like. And it's just too. It's too long. I think it's like 2.5 hours long.
Oh, that's too much.
And it's like just full of her just being like, the world and peace. We must do it for peace. And also one of the worst, like, she does a stunt where she like grabs 2 kids out of the road from being run over by a truck. And they cut to a shot of her like rolling, holding the kids. And she's clearly holding like 2 dummy dolls.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's like, it's like mannequin bad. Like, did you see American Sniper?
Yeah, where he's holding the baby.
He's holding the plastic baby doll, and he's literally...
That looked really
you could
bad.
see Bradley Cooper have his thumb under the arm and bouncing the arm to make it look like the baby's alive.
That's funny. I know that baby got a fever that day. And
is that why they didn't have the
Yeah,
baby?
it got a fever, and their production schedule was like, we can't wait on a damn baby.
Unacceptable stuff.
Who has a fake baby around? Quick, go to Dollar General.
Grab his baby.
Grab the fakest, crappiest one you could possibly find.
Bradley Cooper should have got an Oscar for his performance as that dude, and also for being the baby.
For being the baby,
It should have been Slash baby.
Did he win an Oscar for that?
Oh, did he? I feel like he did. Right?
With the baby considered, he should have won an Oscar.
Because he did 2 roles in the...
But so you would be happy if movie theaters just basically did not exist. Like you could watch any movie at home.
Or I don't know. Or they got to do something. Because I've been to way too many movies where, like, someone is just, like, chewing in your ear. Like,
yeah.
Or, like, people are just, like, talking throughout the whole... I find that in, like... Well, we saw...
300.
The second one, yeah, which was a waste of money. But a fight literally broke out at the end of that movie because people were taking photos with the flash on in the middle of the movie.
And just, like, screaming the entire time.
And then the guy behind them politely asked them to please be quiet and not take flash photography during the middle of the film. And they were ready to... A group of individuals were ready to assault this man outside of the movie theater.
I remember security had to come in and sit behind those people.
Exactly. And then I saw...
Luckily, it was 300 and not like a movie we actually cared about.
Yeah. Thank God it wasn't something like I wanted to pay attention to.
But that's like... me and my friend saw Avengers Endgame at like the midnight release, and we're so excited. And people just ruined that movie completely.
Oh, really?
These people were drunk in costume, clapping at every freaking moment.
That's my least favorite. Are we children? Like, why are we clapping?
Yeah, it's like the people who clap like when the airplane lands, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, who are you clapping for?
Yeah.
Like, yes, the pilot did his job and he did it good. But...
Yeah. That was probably, I was actually pretty lucky. I saw Endgame the Sunday it came out. And the theater I was in was packed, but thankfully everyone was really quiet. The clapping, though, was so, like... It's just so, I don't know, it's so juvenile and so, like... It's like, do they think you could... I understood the part where all of us went, whoa, when Captain America picked up Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
That was a cool scene.
There are some parts where you're like, oh, hell yeah. Like, this is cool. Everyone in this theater is feeling the same excitement as me.
But there was one part where...
At my theater, when at Tony Stark's funeral, when Nick Fury showed up, people started clapping. And a dude screamed, stop fucking clapping. And it was at the point, too, where, like, everyone had pretty much caught on, like, okay, clapping's not cool anymore. Yeah. Like, and it was like a few smatterings of claps, and it's like, come on.
There was one girl who was really loud. She was like, "Oh my god!" I think Black Panther came out. She's like, "That's my husband." She started screaming, and I was like,
"It's
okay.
obnoxious."
And then the part where like it was like, do you remember the part where all the women got together in Endgame and they're like, "We'll carry it" or whatever?
Oh yeah.
That was like, yeah, girl power, yeah. And I'm like, why are we clapping? They can't hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll miss, I probably won't be to a movie theater for a long time.
The only thing I would go back to see a movie is an IMAX movie.
Yeah, like Inception or Interstellar, those movies that you kind of like get the full experience.
I saw Interstellar in IMAX. That was really good.
Yeah, stuff that you can't get at like a home theater.
Yeah.
But
I went for the 50th anniversary of 2001: Space Odyssey. That was really cool.
I've never seen that movie.
That's
Stanley Kubrick.
I personally think that's a fantastic film for people who are into like sci-fi things to watch. You just have to deal with the fact that it's like 3, almost 4 hours long. But it's really cool. I don't know. I think it's a great.
Well, if you fake the moon landing, you can probably make a good movie.
Oh yeah. A lot of this. That's one of the parts of that movie is what astonished me was. I was like, wow, a lot of this stuff could pass for like right now, which is really impressive.
Didn't they have like a shot of Earth as a spaceship is leaving, and it was like before we had
even had a photo of what Earth looked like from NASA.
Yeah,
and they went to NASA and talked with a bunch of of the guys who work for NASA, and they said if we were in outer space looking down on Earth, what would Earth look like? Because we have to make a matte painting to put it in after the fact. He's like, oh, it'd probably be blue, and there'd be like a lot of white with clouds, and so yeah, that's a cool fact for that movie also.
That's pretty impressive. But because this is Tabletop Tonic, I feel like we should at least throw in a little board game action before we head out. So I wanted to ask you what you thought about there's a current. I'll set it up and I'll let you go because I know you are much more like well read on this than I am. But the current debate is that races should not like different races in D&D, like orc, elf, human, and stuff, should not affect character statistics when you're making your character.
Yeah.
So do you want to like elaborate on this a little bit?
I think it's implied that the races in D&D are racist because they're saying how, I don't know, like stats like for like an orc or something. We'll do like orcs for example because that's generally like, you know, like a bad guy you fight in dungeon, like orcs, goblins, hobgoblins, stuff like that. The drow, that's another one that people are upset about. They're like, oh, orcs are these like big dumb, kind of like big and dumb and just like brute force,
like inherently like dumb.
Like that's racist because I don't know. I feel like a lot of these things are just like people projecting on real life, where it's like this is a fantasy world. Mm-hmm. Like, granted, I can understand from a story perspective, like all these characters having these same like traits, like attributes. Like I can understand that can be like very tropey after a while, but like they're saying like drows are racist because they're the evil elves and they have black skin, so that's like saying black is bad. But in reality, drow skin is like purple blue. So I don't know.
So purple blue is bad.
Yes, read the books, please. Like I don't know. That's the one thing that frustrates me about this whole race thing is you can build a character to whatever extent you want. Honest, like if you want to build like a half orc that has high intelligence, high charisma, you can do it. Just pick the right classes.
Right.
Or you can. Also, the beauty of Dungeons and Dragons is it's whatever you want it to be. Like talk with your dungeon master and be like, I don't want my character to take these negative stats from. And can I maybe, I don't know, take it out from somewhere else or just get rid of it completely?
Or can I be like a orc with like high elf statistics?
Yeah, or like can I maybe do instead of the half orc stats, can I borrow from the half elf stats or something?
Yeah.
This is all like
I don't know any dungeon master who probably would not say yes to that.
There's unless you're like one of those people who are like, I'm playing this game by the book. That's not how Dungeons and Dragons is fun. If you're like one of those, I know there's some people who play it like that. That's fine. If like that's like something, if that's the way that you play Dungeons and Dragons and that's what you love, is like
being a stickler
playing
for the rules.
Exactly by every rule and like the book flipping.
Yeah, it's a great way to ruin Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, that's like
being such a stickler for every single rule.
That's not fun. But
you're supposed to have creative control as the dungeon master.
Well, yeah,
they heavily like they say that literally
at the end of everything in the 5th edition books. It's like this is completely up to you.
Yeah, like have fun with it.
Yeah, they give like the recommended stats for like what you'd want to put in for like whatever class you're playing. Like if you want to be a fighter or something. Do you want to be a ranged fighter or a melee fighter? Then put your stats in either strength or dex. Or like, you know, if you're going to be a warlock, you want to do high charisma and stuff like that. These aren't like written in stone rules. Like I know like certain things like you do get like stat boosts for like background and your race, but I find and we're prefacing this with we are democratic liberals. I find that a lot of the far left-leaning white liberals love to project racism on things that aren't there.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of like the problems
So you think people are free associating the fantasy world of Dungeons and Dragons with real-world problems?
Yes, and I think that's way more racist than being like, I don't know, trying to find like actual parallels. Because again, this is a fantasy game.
Right.
But because you're like...
Where everyone works
whereas
together.
Whereas you see like, okay, orcs are just the bad guys because like they're just or they were a race created by Gary Gygax. Well, not Gary Gygax. Orcs go back way long in like mythology. But when Gary Gygax made Dungeons and Dragons, he's like, okay, orcs, you know, goblins, hobgoblins, giants, ogres, trolls. Those will be the bad guys because they're like monsters.
And a lot of this is based off of Tolkien's idea of fantasy, right? Like modern fantasy is based largely in part.
Yeah.
Even like Game of Thrones and stuff is based largely in part on Tolkien's world.
Oh yeah. It's J.R.R. Tolkien.
Yes.
Right? Yeah, he definitely did a ton for like modern fantasy. But also that was a huge inspiration for Gary Gygax when he made Dungeons and Dragons, was because he put he actually got sued by the Tolkien family because he was calling halflings in the first edition of Dungeons and Dragons weren't called they were hobbits, and they had I don't think it was a playable race, but it was like in the monster manual they had Ents in there, and they sued them because they were. I think they also tried suing them for orcs and goblins, but Gary Gygax actually able to get away with that because he was able to prove like this should be like orcs and goblins are like a public domain thing. No one owns like the rights to like the name orc or goblin. Because it goes so long back in like mythology, but he did have to he did have to change the name for Ents and hobbits. So hobbits are now halflings, and Ents are in the monster manual. I think they're treants. I think that's what they're called.
I would be interested to see, not that it has any like, it's not comparable to like the modern age, but like the actual like history of like when orcs were conceived in like mythologically speaking, you know, and what that was based off of to see if there was any like
what culture built like came up with like
and if there's any racial connotations involved with like how that was conceived. I don't think that has really any meaning towards like the modern perception of like the races. But also I think that so we obviously know that like race in real life is not a reflection of like your intelligence or anything. Yeah. Like it is not a good basis for IQ.
Even though people stereotype different races in reality. I guess you could kind of claim that's what they're claiming in Dungeons and Dragons. It's like all stereotypes.
But my point is that like it's been proven time and time again that like race has no impact on like
on intelligence.
It's more like your background, your upbringing, like
nature versus nurture stuff, right?
There's a lot of that involved. The thing with Dungeons and Dragons is it's not like you have to be human and then a different variant of human. They're called races, but they're really different species. Like there's demons and stuff like that.
I play a demon person, a tiefling. In a long going campaign that his name's Solomon.
So I think people are free associating like and projecting like, oh, this is a reflection of like white, black, Asian, Hispanic, when it's really a reflection of like human, alien that is like similar to human, like humanoid, but like different, you know.
Also, I don't know if people. I don't know. Again,
it's also a fantasy game.
Beauty of Dungeons and Dragons is that you can put these creatures in your own setting. There's pre-made settings. There's the Forgotten Realms. There's Eberron. There's I know Critical Role released theirs. I forget what their world's called. Wildmount, I think that's what it's called. What else? They're working on one right now. Greyhawk, which is fun fact about that is the original campaign setting that Gary Gygax created for when he first ran his campaign.
That's cool.
Also, another fun fact: Mordenkainen, Tome of Foes, and also like the Mordenkainen spells. Mordenkainen is the wizard that Gary Gygax played in that Greyhawk.
That's pretty cool.
So that's his wizard. That's where they get the name Mordenkainen from. That's his wizard.
So one last thing before we wrap up, do you think that there is a way to solve the issue for both like parties involved, like people who think that this is like inherently a racist thing, and people who don't like think so? Like, is there a way to like implement like maybe it's like not culture, but like I don't even know what it would be called, but like some way where like the race does not matter, but there is some sort of like element in character creation where
honestly,
or do you think it doesn't matter?
The easiest way I see you fixing this is just being like, hey, I don't want these traits on my character. Can I pick new ones? Any reasonable dungeon master would say yes. Wizards of the Coast, who print all the Dungeons and Dragons books and everything, who own the rights to it, they recently released, I think it's Tosh's Cauldron of Everything or something like that.
Daniel Tosh?
Yeah. They released a book with like some more subclasses and rules in it about race, essentially fixing what people were complaining about, being like, I mean, I think essentially it really didn't fix a lot. It didn't like retcon stuff in like the player's handbook, but it was like build your class however you want to build it. Like you are not constrained to, and I don't think people were happy with that. I think people wanted to be like,
people wanted a hard set.
Yeah, people want like a hard like make Drow's not the bad guy, and also like orcs are the good guy. Like make orcs super smart or something like that's what people want. They want like a hard like reset.
Right.
They don't want to be like, hey, we're playing an imaginary game where all of us sit around a table and like co-imagine this world. Also, you as the dungeon master can like I don't know if you listen to the Critical Role show at all. Matthew Mercer for the second campaign, they're like encountering an empire where it's all just essentially like they've been driven out of like the major part of the continent, and they're like further north.
And for people who don't know, Critical Role is like the most popular D&D podcast.
Yeah, also
by
like
far.
One of the fastest funded
Kickstarter
things for their show. Yeah, and the characters are deal with like I forget what the name of the empire is, but it's all drows, it's all half orcs, it's like ogres and stuff. And when they meet like these goblins, these orcs, these drows, they don't interact like I'm evil or they're like, we have feelings. We play your campaign as that, like make them more complex, make them more than just like we're the bad guy. If you think that's more interesting story wise also. Like,
right.
I don't know if I gave like a proper answer maybe, except like stop complaining, honestly, because it's an imaginary game where you can do whatever you want.
Yeah. I do wonder if there like is a way to make it where it's like it'll be like, which I think will probably happen in the future, where it's like environment, like background, where it's like, oh, I grew up in like a fighter's guild where intelligence wasn't like as stressed as like strength. Or like I grew up in like a mage's castle where like intelligence was like the main thing.
And again, that's something you can you just work out your backstory with your DM.
I think really whatever way is the most fun for you and your friends is how you should play.
That's how the game's supposed to work. It's like they just made these bad guys because like in human mythology, things like goblins and trolls are like things that snatch people in the middle of the night and gobble you up. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why they're the bad guys in the monster manual.
Right.
That's the only reason why. If you want them to be more complex, make them more complex. I know we've never gotten super far in any campaign I've run, but I always try to make the majority. I mean, obviously, there's just like the regular hack and slash bad guys where it's like, oh, there's a giant spider trying to eat you, just crush it. But like I've always tried to make it where it's like if you're encountering bad guys like the drow or orcs or something. Maybe not all of them are super like charismatic or intelligent, but like make some of them like thinkers or like strategists or something, or like make them like an actual like intelligent like mastermind or something.
It's a boring story when every single bad guy is exactly, or a good guy is exactly the same.
Exactly. So like just do that. And I don't know if people like, I don't know, if they feel so strongly about like how much they hate Dungeons and Dragons, play Pathfinder.
Yeah, play Pathfinder.
Play Pathfinder. There's hundreds of RPGs out there. If you hate Dungeons and Dragons so much, there is, I don't know, play Pathfinder.
Play whatever you have fun with, or play D&D, whatever way you think is the most fun. But I think that's a good note to wrap it off on.
No, I think we did good. We did good, kid.
We're going to high five after this. But thank you, everyone, for listening to the Tabletop Tonic podcast. We are going to do these weekly. Yep. We record on Tuesdays. Probably be out
Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday.
We'll probably make a YouTube channel also. We're recording this right now on video.
Yeah, where you can find us.
Where if you don't want to listen to it in your car ride or however you consume your podcast, we'll do it like everyone else.
Yeah, put a video format up.
And what else? We'll have something fun to talk about next week, hopefully also.
We'll post links. I'm working on the website right now, and we're going to post links of where you can find our podcast.
Probably make like a gram or something.
Yeah. So wherever you want to find us, we'll be there. Except for Apple Podcasts for now.
As of right now, we have to wait to see if Apple accepts.
Yeah. They might not like our hot takes in the first episode. We went pretty crazy
on Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons and
speaking freely against the Disney Corporation.
Yeah. We really we're like Oprah Winfrey. We really just topple them down when we see them.
Oh, that's someone else we tackled today. I forgot was the English monarch.
Yeah. You're not safe from this podcast.
We're coming after all of you. All right.
Thanks for listening to everyone.